Welcome dear students and hope that you are doing great. So finally I have managed the time for you people to discuss the complete chemistry guess for class 11 for March session 2024, which is according to the latest syllabus prescribed by jkbose. And in this video, in this guess, I will also discuss those chapters from which long answer type questions will be asked, right? So let's start. First of all, you should know that your question paper, it will have 4 sections, that is section A, B, section C and D. In section A, you will have objective type questions, or you can also have multiple choice questions, that is MCQs. And you will have here 10 questions. So each question will carry 1 mark. So 1 into 10, so total it will be having 10 marks, right? This section. So section A, it has total 10 marks. It will comprise of 10 marks. And I will also tell you from which units these MCQ type questions will be asked ahead. So then next is section B. Section B, it will carry very short answer type questions. And these questions, they will carry 2 marks. There will be 9 questions in total. So 18 marks will be total in this section B. Then we are having section C. It will carry short answer type questions, which will carry 3 marks, and there will be also 9 questions. So total 27 marks it will comprise, right? Then we are having the section D. It will carry long answer type questions, that's LAT, long answer type questions. So they will have 5 marks, each will carry 5 marks. So there are 3 questions in total. So there will be 15 marks from this section, that is section D. So all these sections are important, and this will be the pattern of the question paper. So now let's move ahead. Let's start with the, now first of all, you should know that most of you, they were asking that what is this HOTS? Actually this stands for higher order thinking skills, right? Higher order, that means some questions, they will be of higher order thinking skill. That means such questions in which you have to think, you have to use your mind, and they will be apart from application based questions, right? You are also having application based questions, ABQs, application based questions. Apart from these, there will be HOTS, so higher order thinking skills. And from which chapters such type of questions will be asked, or from which topics? I have given here the Lechet-Lyers principle. This is very important, its application, right? So how question will be asked? Some equilibrium reaction will be given, and you will be asked that if we change the pressure, if we add the catalyst, if we change the temperature, if we change the concentration, if we add some inert gas, what will happen to the equilibrium? Will it shift in the forward direction or in the backward direction? What will be the amount of the product formed, right? So you should read it in detail. You should study the applications of this Lechet-Lyers principle. This is very important. Then we are having this acid-base concept. This is very important. We are having the classical concept. We are having the Bronsted concept. We are having the acid-base concept given by Lewis. Lewis concept of acid and base, that's very important. So question will be asked, for example, let's say I'm here having SbF5. If I'm just reacting it with, let's say, F negative fluoride ion, so you have to tell here that what this fluoride ion acts as. Will it act as Lewis acid or Lewis base? So such type of questions will be asked from this acid base concept. Then the very important is the spontaneity. So spontaneity, it will be asked from either enthalpy change or from the Gibbs free energy, right? Or similarly the entropy change. That means how a reaction will be spontaneous. Will it be spontaneous or not? Sometimes value will be given, sometimes you have to calculate this delta G. I hope you remember all that delta G, it's always equal to delta H minus T del S, right? So question can be asked from this spontaneity. And similarly then we are having the molecular orbital theory. This is very important. Questions are asked from its applicative part, that is actually which compound will exist and which will not exist, right? What will be the bond order, which will be paramagnetic, which will be diamagnetic. I hope that you have gone through this. So these are actually the higher order thinking skills based questions, right? Next we will now move towards the different chapters, units. So the first unit is your some basic concepts of chemistry. It will carry 7 marks, right? So the topics which are very important, that is the laws of chemical combination. You will remember that numerical will be asked from this topic, laws of chemical combination, and sometimes you can directly be asked about a particular law with example, so you have to explain that. Next you will study the mole concept. That's very important. You should apply this mole concept in order to calculate the number of atoms, number of molecules, the volume, isn't it? So this is very important. Next is calculation of empirical and molecular formula. It's also numerical based type, all these 3 topics. Then we are having the stoichiometric calculations. Stoichiometric calculations, it will also include the LR, that is the limiting reagent, and I hope that you have gone through this. So you should be able to tell the limiting reagent, excess reagent, and what will be the final product, how much will be the amount of the final product formed. So now let's move to the next chapter. Next chapter is your unit 2nd, that carries 9 marks. So you have to remember this. This is according to the latest syllabus as prescribed by the board. So that is actually your 2nd chapter, structure of atom. So here you will study the atomic models. They are very important, atomic models, particularly the Bohr's model, right? Bohr's model, that's very important. Here you should be able to calculate the radius of an orbit. You should be able to calculate the velocity. You should be able to calculate the angular momentum, right? MVR, right? So you should be able to calculate the energy. That's very important, energy of an electron in any shell. So atomic models, they are very important. And here important is next de Broglie's relationship, right? You have to derive that. Next is the Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. That's very important. Numerical is asked from these also. So de Broglie's relationship is also important, and also numerical will be asked in this Bohr's model, right? Then quantum numbers are very important, its types, right? You should be able to write the quantum number for a particular electron in any shell. Next is electronic configuration. Here the various rules, like we are having the Bose principle, right? We are having the Hund's rule, we are having the Pauli's exclusion principle, right? So you should be able to write the exceptional electronic configuration of chromium and copper. That's very important. That is actually the stability of half-filled and fully filled electronic configuration. Now this is very important chapter, because from this chapter 2nd, that's unit 2nd, you will be asked the long answer type questions. So long answer type question, it will be asked from this unit because it carries 9 marks. Now where from which topic it is gonna to be asked? You will remember that this long answer type question, it will be asked from this de Broglie's relationship. You have to derive this. Similarly, this Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, quantum numbers. So these are the topics from which long answer type question will be asked, right? Then let's move towards the next unit, that is the unit 3rd. Unit 3rd is actually classification of elements and periodicity and property. It carries 6 marks. So here you will study in detail the modern periodic table, right? Modern periodic law you will study here. You will study the various groups and periods, and similarly you should be able to tell the general electronic configuration of different blocks, S, P, D and F block elements, right? You should know their general outer shell electronic configuration. Similarly, you will study here the periodic trends. That's very important. Just we are having the atomic ionic size. Just they have actually, if you just check the syllabus, there is written inert gas radius. Inert gas radius. That is a van der Waals, right? Inert gas radius, or what you can call it as van der Waals radii. You have to discuss its trend, that is whether it will increase or decrease in a group, right? So periodic trends, they are very important. So here you will study the ionization energy, here you will study the electron gain enthalpy, you will study the electronegativity, similarly the valency, right? How they vary in a period and in a group, you should know that. Next is the diagonal relationship, right? What is the cause of this, right? Similarly, anomalous anomalous behavior shown by the elements of second period, right? So why they show the anomalous behavior? You should know this. What is its cause? So this is important from chapter 3rd, unit 3rd. Next is the unit 4. Unit 4, it also carries 7 marks. So here you will study the bond parameters and Lewis dot structure, right? You should be able to write the Lewis dot structure of any given molecule. Bond parameters, you should know about the bond angle, bond length, right? Bond order. So similarly, you will study here the types of bonds. That is, you are having the ionic bond, right? You are having the covalent bond. You should know them in detail. And the types of covalent bond, just you are having the sigma bond and the pi bond. What is the difference, right? And these are very important. These are very important. That is the VBT, valence bond theory. It's very important. Whisper theory, valential electron pair repulsion theory, and molecular orbital theory. So all these are very important. From this whisper theory, you will be asked the shapes of various molecules. From this MO2, you will be asked about the paramagnetism, diamagnetism. You will be asked the bond order. I hope you remember bond order. It's always equal to 1/2 of NB minus NA. I hope that you have gone through this. And next you will study the hybridization and its types, right? Then similarly the hydrogen bonding. So this was your unit 4, which carries only 7 marks. So from this long answer type question, it will not be asked from this one, right? I hope you will remember this. I will tell first. I have told you from the unit 2nd, long answer type question will be asked. Now let's see the next one. Next is your very important, that is the unit 5. Unit 5, it is the thermodynamics. So it carries 9 marks. So first of all, you remember that long answer type question will be asked from this. And where from it will be asked? What are the topics? You will remember it is the first law of thermodynamics. It's mathematical derivation, right? Heat capacity, its types, right? Molar heat capacity, specific heat capacity. It's also a long answer type question. Hess's law, its application, it's also a long answer type question. Types of enthalpies, we are having various types of enthalpies. So from this long answer type question can be asked, right? Now here you will study the types of systems, right? Open, closed, isolated. We are having intensive, extensive properties. You will also remember the examples. Second law of thermodynamics, third law of thermodynamics, they are important. And types of enthalpies, I have already told this. Next is very important, that is actually the enthalpy change, entropy change gives free energy. Free energy, it's very important, because you have to tell actually the spontaneity of a reaction. Whether a particular reaction will be spontaneous or not, you have to tell from these values. So these 3 are very important. So from this 5th unit, you will be asked the long answer type question. So you will prepare accordingly, right? I have told you the topics from which long answer type questions can be asked. Okay, next we are having the 6th one. 6th one is your unit 6. That's actually the equilibrium. Equilibrium, it carries 7 marks, right? So here the topics which are very important, that is the factors affecting equilibrium. Similarly, equilibrium constant, right? Equilibrium constant, law of chemical equilibrium, similarly law of mass action you will study here. And this is very, very important, that is the Le-Chatelier's principle, its application, right? I told you that application based questions and HOTS, they will be asked from such topics. So Le-Chatelier's principle, it's very important. You will study it in detail. And acid base concept, you will study all the 3 concepts. pH, you should be able to calculate the pH. Numerical type question will be asked from this. Similarly, what is hydrolysis of salt and buffer solution, types of buffer solution, right? You should remember the examples. And what is this solubility product and common ion effect? It's very important. So this you will study from this unit 6, that is the equilibrium, right? Then we are having the unit 7, that's actually the redox unit. Redox, it carries only 4 marks. Here you will study what is oxidation reduction, all the concepts, right? Classical concept we are having, electronic concept we are having, right? We are having oxidation number concept. So what is oxidation number and how to give the stock notation, this is very important. I hope you have gone through this. And similarly, types of redox reactions, particularly the disproportionation reaction, right? And how to balance a redox reaction. There are 2 methods to balance these redox reactions. I hope you have gone through this. Next is very important, that is the unit 8. This is organic chemistry, some basic principles and techniques. It carries 11 marks. So what are you expecting from this? That is the long answer type question, LAT. Long answer type question carrying 5 marks. So from which topic it will be asked? First of all, this one, IUPAC nomenclature. See, the pattern which was earlier, in that you are only asked this IUPAC nomenclature carrying only 1 mark. Question was given and you have to give the IUPAC name. But now it will be asked as long answer type questions. You will be having either 5 different organic compounds will be given and you have to name them. So I hope you will study it very well. You will try how to give IUPAC nomenclature here. Next, you will study the methods of purification, quantitative and qualitative analysis. This is very important. This is actually from where you are also expecting the long answer type questions. Then electronic effects, very important. That's we are having the inductive effect, we are having the electromeric effect, we are having the mesomeric effect, right? We are having the hyperconjugation effect. So you will study in detail the types and their application. Next is the reaction intermediates, right? Just we are having carbocations, we are having the carbanion, we are having the free radicals, right? We are having carbenes, nitrines. These reaction intermediates are very important. You are also expecting long answer type question from this. And next is the types of organic reaction. This is also very important. Just you will study here the addition reaction, substitution reaction, right? Substitution reaction, addition reaction, and elimination reaction, and their types. They are very important, and you will just remember the examples. Electrophile and nucleophile, what is this? You will remember the various examples of these. So this will be important portion from organic chemistry, right? And then we are having the last chapter, right? Last chapter is our hydrocarbons, right, which carries the 10 marks. So from this hydrocarbons, you are also expecting long answer type questions. So actually we have discussed the 3 units from which long answer type question will be asked. That's actually the unit 2nd, right? And then I have told you the unit number, that is the 5th, thermodynamics, right? And then I told you the unit number 8, that is the organic chemistry. But sometimes they can also change the pattern. They can ask long answer type question from unit 2nd, unit 5, and unit number 9. So that means if they leave this one, then they can ask long answer type question from this. But if they leave this one, then they can answer, they can have the long answer type question from this one, that's unit 8. So you can expect from both these units because they carry this carries 10 marks, and unit 8 that also carries 11 marks, right? So the topics which are very important, that is the isomerism, that's particularly the conformational isomers in case of alkanes. Just we are having ethane, the conformers of ethane, you had only studied that of ethane. Similarly, geometrical isomerism in case of alkenes, right? You should also here study the preparation properties of preparation of alkane and alkyne. They are also important. Next, very important is free radical mechanism. That's actually the free radical mechanism of halogenation, right? Mechanism of halogenation of alkanes. Next is addition reactions. They are very important. That is addition of H2 to alkene. Similarly, halogen, addition of halogen, addition of hydrogen halides, hydrohalogen acids, right? Just we are having HBr, HCl. That's actually here you will study the 2 important rules. One is the MK rule, Marconi-Cauchy rule, and peroxide effect. It's very important. Next is addition of water here, and then ozonolysis, very important reaction of alkenes and oxidation of alkenes. Next you will study the aromaticity, just benzene, its orbital diagram, right? And the mechanism of aromatic electrophilic substitution reaction, that actually includes halogenation, right? Halogenation, similarly nitration, I will write it here, halogenation, nitration, similarly sulfonation, and similarly Friedel-Crafts reaction, which will include Friedel-Crafts alkylation, Friedel-Crafts acylation, and Friedel-Crafts benzylation, right? Here some important NAM reactions are also there. Just we are having the Wurtz reaction, Wurtz fitting reaction, and I hope you will go through these. Then the next and the last, that is the directive influence. That's actually direct to influence of functional group in monosubstituted benzene, right? So these were the very important questions from this chapter, and then so we have completed. Thank you for watching.